Nice to meet you, Kyle. Hey, congrats on being acquitted. I don't know what you say to someone that's been acquitted, but I'm going to say congrats. And congrats on the book.
Thank you.
Is this your first SHOT Show?
Nope, second.
Second. Very cool. All right. Wishing you the best of success, brother. Appreciate it.
SHOT Show, or the Shooting Hunting Outdoor Trade Show, is the largest industry insider show of its kind in the world. And we just spent 3 days there to give you an inside look at what's new in the world of shotguns. SHOT Show is an amazing event. It is absolutely huge. You can walk for days without seeing everything. We went there specifically to look at shotguns. We're gonna count down some of the top shotguns that we're most looking forward to, as well as some of our favorite moments from the show. But let's start at the top, shall we? The first thing we saw as we rolled into Vegas was not a shotgun at all. In fact, it was a ball, or as they call it, the Sphere. This thing was incredible. We never did take the time to go inside. Maybe we'll put that on the bucket list for next year. But it was a sight to see. And our hotel was right next door, so we got to kind of walk by it every day on our way to SHOT Show. We got in kind of late on that first day. That was Monday night. SHOT Show opens up Tuesday morning. So really all we wanted to do Monday night is see the back of our eyelids so we could hit it right away Tuesday, because we had a ton going on. Both Tuesday and Wednesday, we were at SHOT Show, and then we're working to release videos each day. So if you haven't checked out those videos, you're gonna have a more detailed look at some of our experience at SHOT Show and what we found, but we're just gonna recap some of the highlights in this one. The first thing to mention was the stop at the Savage booth. Now, there was a few surprises here. Didn't expect really anything new from Savage. They're really not known for their shotguns. They have that Renegade, and then of course they make the Stevens brand, like the Stevens 555. But as I was looking at the Stevens 555, I noticed it was no Stevens at all. It was a Savage 555. They said the quality was good enough that we could make it a Savage. So I don't think much has changed with this shotgun, so there's not a lot to talk about, other than I thought that was an interesting fact. I would love to get my hands back on a Savage 555 and try it out. The one I reviewed, I was not in love with, had a ton of recoil. The other thing with Savage is just a drop in their price point on the Renegade, which I think was absolutely necessary. I think they dropped at least a few $100s. And now we're getting to a price point where that might be an okay gun option, but where they were around that $1,600 mark was definitely priced too high for the type of gun that you got. There was a few exciting things at the Mossberg booth. One of the things I'm gonna point out is the 940 Pro. This might not seem big to you, but it's big to me. They updated the safety. That was one of my complaints with the 940 Pro. The safety, top tang safety, was sort of easy to slide over. And they made the safety in a way that there's kind of a hump in the middle, so now it's really easy to put it on and off. I'm gonna be switching out all my safeties for that one. That's a big improvement. Not groundbreaking here, guys. We just changed to safety. But on the 940 Pro lineup, they also added some sporting models. Basically, the only difference on the sporting models is some look and then also 30-inch barrel. So there again, not revolutionary, but a cool update. And within that sporting model, they make a compact model. So a shorter length of pull with a shorter barrel in a 12 gauge. Now, this is something I'm considering for my son for exhibitions as well. But any youth or smaller frame shooter, this could be a great option for them on a gun that's a little bit more manageable to handle. A lot of other cool stuff at Mossberg. Nothing groundbreaking that we're gonna jump into here, but you can definitely check out, I think it was the day one video where we mentioned Mossberg and kind of went through some of their lineup there. Now, the next gun on the list, there was a lot of buzz going on about this at SHOT Show. It was the Browning A5. Yes, the A5. I know what you're thinking. The A5's been out for several years. Yes, but now it's available in 20 gauge, or at least it will be when they're done manufacturing it, probably late this year. The Browning A5 has been a great gun. A lot of people love it, but it's only been available in 12 gauge and 16 gauge, that sweet 16, right? But now it's gonna be available in 20 gauge. And at first I was like, just a change in bore, right? Going from a 12 to a 20. But I picked that gun up. It was sub 6 pounds. I'm actually really excited to see how it performs. I talked to one of the folks at Browning that talked about all their testing with it and how reliable it was in all their testing as far as just cycling a wide range of shells. I definitely want to put that to the test. Would love to hear what you guys think. If you think we should review the Browning A5 in 20 gauge, hopefully later this year, we'll see it. Now, right now, the only A5 20 gauge that's gonna be available is walnut with a black receiver. I believe they call it the Hunter. And I imagine in upcoming years, there'll be a whole lot more versions of it available, but that's it with Browning. Now, I was visiting the Rite booth next on the list, and of course they have the Gordian, they have the Masai Mara, and they have it in a lot of different variations. And then they said, well, we also have the Antalya. I was like, what? What is that? And they showed me the gun. It was a beautiful looking gun. It appeared to me that it would be like a real nice looking upland gun. It was fairly light, looked beautiful. And they said it was kind of more of a sporting gun. I'm not real sure where this gun fits. And I think the higher dollar one was over $3,000 MSRP. And the lower dollar one was like $2,500. So kind of an expensive shotgun, but would definitely like to get my hands on that one. It was beautiful looking. I really liked it. Let us know what you guys think. Is this a gun you would like to see on the TFL channel sometime soon? Now, one of my favorite stops was actually at the Rizzini booth. We've reviewed one Rizzini so far, the BR 110 Sporter IPS, but Rizzini has a lot of great guns, from different lines of sporting guns to field guns that are over-unders, side-by-sides. And so far, I've been really impressed with Rizzini. Got a chance to chat with them at SHOT Show, and they said, hey, if we have it in inventory and you want to make a video on it, we'll send it to you. Now, we didn't anticipate this next company to make the list, but it somehow did, and that is Dickinson. I've been confused by Dickinson over the last few years as I go to their SHOT Show booth and I look at a variety of very cheap shotguns, from tactical pumps to even over-unders that are just very cheap, Turkish-made shotguns. But then you go to another part of their booth and they have $10,000 plus shotguns that appear to be nice. I'm not sure how nice they are. I inspected some really close, and as far as engraving detail, I'm just not sure. Had fun communicating with the guy in the booth that spoke no English, but was happy to show me that he follows Target Focus Life on Instagram, and then proceeded to hug me on both sides. That was cool. But I would like to learn more about Dickinson. I would like to check them out, specifically their higher end shotguns, and see what they're really made of. So since the start of the Target Focus Life brand and YouTube channel, the CZ1012 has been one of the most requested shotguns on the channel. Now they have the CZ1012 G2. Now, just looking at it from a surface level and not being able to do a lot of research while out at SHOT Show, it didn't appear to be all that much different than the original 1012. But there were some updates. We want to dive into that, see what they are, explore them, so we can share with you. I'm most interested in their over-unders and side-by-sides. To be honest, we reviewed the CZ Sharptail just this last year, and I absolutely loved it. Took it on a dove hunt, spent a little more time with it in the field. They have a lot of variety of over-under and side-by-side shotguns that we still need to test out. And looking forward to doing that, getting our hands on more CZ shotguns. Now, we've done a few different TriStar reviews on the channel so far. They seem to have a pretty decent price to quality mix. Of course, these are Turkish-made shotguns as well, but they have some new additions to their lineup that I think would be worth reviewing. And one of those new guns is called the Phoenix, which is a side-by-side shotgun. But the other gun in TriStar that I'm really looking forward to trying out is the TT15, which is their trap lineup. And they have some combos and unsingles and different stuff like that within that lineup. One super cool thing from SHOT Show was the AI that was there. Yes, shotguns are starting to incorporate AI, specifically Benelli. Benelli has the AI, which stands for Advanced Impact. So it's not artificial intelligence, maybe one day. Basically what they did is they overbored a barrel. So when you look at the outside of the barrel, it looks like a 10 gauge. It looks huge, has a lengthened forcing cone. What does all this mean? Well, in short, it's actually supposed to give you more velocity and energy downrange. So the numbers I have here, according to Benelli's marketing material, are actually pretty cool. At 60 meters, there was a 42% increase in velocity and a 77% increase in energy. That's pretty significant. And I would love to put some of that to the test and see what that practically means in the field. Then they say with their advanced impact chokes, you even get better pattern density. So it's supposed to lead to all sorts of better performance. But as of right now, this AI, advanced impact, is only available in the Ethos lineup in the Performance Shop. So you got the Performance Shop Ethos, and then you either have the Sport, Super Sport, or Cordoba that it's available in. But I have a feeling that if this really lives up to the hype, you might see it in more of their shotgun lineup. So that was a pretty cool surprise from Benelli that I'm looking forward to trying. They also updated the ultralight, much like they updated the M2 and the Monofeltro last year. They just gave a facelift to the ultralight, which looks more modern, more sleek, and would be a great semi-auto upland hunting option. Have not reviewed that one. We've had a few requests, not a ton, but if you want to see that ultralight, let us know. Stopping by the Franke booth, not a whole lot new there. We do kind of go through their lineup in one of the videos that we launched while we were out there, but in that side plate, which remember we reviewed the side plate, the Instinct side plate over under, which we absolutely loved. That was in 12 gauge. It is now going to be offered in 16 and 28 sub gauges. So that's really cool. Would love to get my hands on a 28 gauge version of the side plate. When we stopped by the Beretta booth, there was one gun that really stood out that we want to get our hands on that we've never shot before. Actually, a couple, now that I say that. But there was also additions to the A400 Extreme Plus lineup with a lot of different camo and color variations. You can see one of the prior videos. That was really cool. That's been just a dynamite gun as we've reviewed it, as we've shot it. And then you read the comments of people that have the A400 Extreme Plus, they love it. And they will let you know that it is the best gun out there, okay? But outside of that, there was an over-under shotgun that was made to be the lightest steel receiver shotgun on the market. This is a 12 gauge Ultra Leggero. That just rolls right off the tongue. It's so light that we went to their website to see what the weight is. It's not on there. Check out how light this is. We're not telling you. The next gun we're gonna mention is not a field gun. It's not a sporting gun. It is the Genesis Gen 12, which is a mag-fed semi-auto 12 gauge. And it is supposed to be the fastest on the market. And I think what they claim there at the booth is not fastest mag-fed, but just fastest semi-auto shotgun. And hearing a challenge like that, you know we gotta get one in and make some video content on it, because I'm always curious, what gun can run the fastest? Now, this Gen 12 is also available in full auto, which would be a blast to shoot. I'd love to get my hands on one. And they also make SBSs, so short barrel shotguns, and then they put suppressors on them. They were cool to check out. I know it's not our standard here on TFL. We're more in the field and sporting, but that gun caught my attention, and I'd love to get a few. All right, guys, we're nearing the end of the list, but we got a few more to go. Turkish shotguns. You could have walked for days to look at Turkish shotguns. There were so many Turkish shotguns. We didn't even stop at a lot of them. If there were names we didn't recognize or if we don't see them regularly in retail in the United States, sometimes a gun made in Turkey gets a bad rap. I think there's some very fine shotguns made in Turkey. I think there's some garbage made in Turkey. And there is a lot made in Turkey. So I'm not going to blanket label anything as garbage just because it's made in Turkey. But speaking of a Turkish shotgun manufacturer, Panzer Arms. They have a few standard shotguns. They made one for 3-gun that was kind of neat. I'm not a big 3-gun shooter, so I don't know if I'd review that one. But they have some really cool shotguns like AR shotguns and AK-style shotguns and bullpup shotguns. A lot of mag-fed stuff, just really unique, fun stuff. I think it would just be a blast to get hands on and shoot for sure. And then not to mention that lever action that they make that's made for quad loading. Scenario, I'm not really sure, but it's unique, it's fun. I think it'd be fun to play with a little bit. What do y'all think? We also took a stop at Fusion Firearms. Never heard of Fusion Firearms? Don't worry, a lot of people haven't. They've been around for quite a while, actually making handguns, but they're newer on the scene making shotguns. Where are they made, you may ask? Turkey. They're made in Turkey. But why would I highlight Fusion Firearms? Well, I've got to know some of the guys there. I've spent quite a bit of time talking with them. We're going to review some of their guns coming up. And the difference with them and other Turkish-made shotguns, Fusion Firearms actually has another company called Fusion Global. So they have their own people in Turkey. They come up with all their own designs. They kind of oversee the whole process much differently than a lot of other manufacturers. Not only that, all the service and parts are done here in the United States. So inevitably, when something goes wrong and you need it fixed, they will fix it here in the United States out of Venice, Florida is where their home base. So you send your shotgun down or get a new part sent to you from them. What they really specialize is, like a lot of Turkish shotguns, is making very value-driven shotguns. They seem like great people based here out of the United States, but manufactured in Turkey. So I think that's kind of a cool mix where you can buy that cheap shotgun because you just don't want to spend the money. But if something does go wrong, you got people here in the United States that back it up. As far as shotguns, that's kind of the list. There's not a whole lot new in the shotgun world. Now, some of these guns may be new to you, but a lot of guns have been around for quite a while. And so we just want to do our best to make sure we're covering the shotgun world, what's new out there. And sometimes there's really exciting things. Sometimes it's just, hey, shotguns are cool, but there's not a whole lot new. SHOT Show is a cool event for many, many reasons. One of those reasons are just the connections and the people that you get to meet and that you've become friends with over the years. I remember the first time I walked the SHOT Show floor, I didn't know a soul. Then, for example, this year, I saw a ton of friends, had a great time. Just a few people that we got to bump into would be like the Bartholomew brothers, two of the best trap shooters in the country. The Yackleys, they're a family, husband, wife, and kids of three gun shooters that are sponsored by Winchester. And when I was partnered with Winchester way back, that's when I got to meet them. Just a wonderful family. Of course, saw the Mitchellicks there, saw Hootie Hoo there, saw Demolition Ranch, got to visit with him a little bit. In the last couple of years, I've bumped into Jim from the Backfire YouTube channel. He's been around longer, has a bigger channel, but the equivalent of TFL, but for rifles, primarily dealing with hunting and precision long-range rifles. So if you're into rifles, definitely check out Backfire on YouTube. He makes some really great content. And then, of course, we saw Brandon Herrera. I don't know Brandon personally, but Jordan saw him, had to introduce himself. He's kind of a fanboy. Outside of that, we also got to bump into Gun Drummer. Check out Gun Drummer on YouTube. I brought up the idea of a collaboration with him, which I think would be super fun. Of course, Jordan is very musically gifted. I can carry some rhythm. I'd be curious to see if I could play some drums with guns. That'd be super cool. And of course, I bumped into my buddy Travis Mears. Now, if you're considering coming to SHOT Show, just a heads up, it's an industry inside only show. So you got to show your connection to the industry. I have to do it every year. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it is a really cool event. Of the people we got to meet, Kyle Rittenhouse. But you didn't know he's one of the most famous shooters. He's not known for competitions or exhibitions or anything like that. He's known for personally defending himself in a public manner and facing a very public trial. That's what makes him the most famous. I'm not making fun of Kyle. I don't really have an opinion of any type. We were walking SHOT Show and he was signing books. I think it was called Acquitted. I have a signed copy over there. I had to get one when I was there. Thought that was fascinating. We got to do a few fun things while we were there. Like we got to hit up a concert that was sponsored by Remington. And that was a ton of fun. Got to sit with the Remington folks and watch the lead singer of Leonard Skinner, which was a fun night, short-lived concert, but had a blast there. Last but not least, one of the coolest things of SHOT Show, we hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which was just awesome to see. It's really kind of hard to believe. We started this channel a few years back and it just wanted to share our passion for shotguns and all things wing shooting. And it's been amazing to see how many folks are just really interested and have that same passion. So thank you so much for being part of that journey. Now, with 100,000 subscribers, we do want to celebrate. We're going to have a giveaway. We've just been traveling too much to get it detailed out. It's probably going to be some type of in-person event where we'll draw a winner and pay for their travel to come to the event, and other subscribers can also come as well. Can't pay for travel for everybody as much as we would love to. That's kind of what we're thinking. Don't hold us to it. We're still working on it, but we should have those details very soon. Thanks for tuning in for this video. Remember, whether you're in the field or in life, you're only going to hit those shots you're laser focused on. So live Target Focused. See ya.